This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
About to end, but we just watched the sweetest moment of June arriving to the den. Nobody's here. And then June does what every mother hyena does, puts her head in the dentrance and makes this very low sound. Really, really low. And the cub immediately can identify, that's my mom. Mom is calling. And of course, little Novella popped out. Ah, Mom. She's just over there. But for some reason, she's not following. I think your mom is waiting. Now we're being defiant. You woke up, you responded, now it's time to follow. Here's June, look. Waiting. It's so nice to see June, and look how just massive she is. June is a big hyena. She always has been one of the larger females, and she's full and just huge. She's bigger than Intima in terms of size and body weight. She's a big girl. God. Novella, I really think you should go and join your mom. The cubs seem to reach an age where they just don't want to respond to mom anymore. We've watched this a few times with Intima, even Ribbon at one point. And June's coming back. I think she's gonna start to get angry. And that's a full belly. She's definitely feasted recently. On what? Ah, that's perfect. Ah, perfect. Thank you, June. Somebody's coming. Hello. Mind my head, my cameraman tells me. Would you rather look at the hyenas or my head? Hyenas. Thank you, Dobby. Oh, sweet. We haven't had a moment like this in a while at the den. Oh, no, please don't walk away, June. I think this happens a lot. They seem to have a spot that's nestled in the grass not too far away. And when we come here, I think that's sometimes why we don't see them. Novella's not following. She looks so different. My goodness. Nervous. Many of you are also happy. Me too. That's why it's worth coming by. I mean, the pain of coming by and having it empty is hard going, but that's why you've just got to keep trying. Patience really does pay off. I don't think this sighting's going to last terribly long, but at least we get to see them. Know that everybody's doing okay. Now, Novella, which means adore in Shangaan, is such a nice name. And She was born late November, early December 2020, so still very, very young. And Susan, you're saying? Kids will be kids, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think it's easy to be a mother, human or any other mammal, at least. Look at June, she's just watching. Now she's coming back again. For some reason, Novella is just refusing to follow. But June, as a mother, knows that Novella will be hungry. Look at the two of them. Just like this standoff. Duncan, right now, Novella should be following June. June is trying to go to a little private space to feed Novella, and she's obviously refusing. But in terms of hunting, it depends on age. And that's a really interesting question, because what's happened to the Djuma clan right now is a sort of split. This den where we're sitting right now used to be the hubbub of all activity. Everybody used to be here. Every single cub and sometimes every single mother. They're starting to make some decisions. And the younger two, which is Novella and Intima's son, who's not got a name yet, stay in the den. They're still far too young. So this cub that we're looking at is too young to be going on hunts. Far too small. Look at her. She's learning. So June, who's coming back, by the way, is taking her further and further away from the den. And it's probably to go into some sun and a nice sweet spot. But it's also to teach the youngsters. It's also to teach the youngsters, come with me, come with me, come with me. It's a process. Slowly but surely they're going to start to learn to go further, what's safe, what's not, follow mum. And eventually they'll reach the stage of the other cubs like Ngwazi and Shimbulu. They are completely roaming young, wild and free. Following mom, going to kill sites, maybe even attempting to hunt much, much smaller animals. Gingarika and Pumela are still younger. And I think because there's the two older boys, if that makes sense, Gingarika, Pumela and Braveheart are following suit. This is not going to plan, everyone. She seems really nervous. What's up, little one? You know the WildEarth vehicle. Strange that mom's here, who's coming back once again. Joy, I actually just mentioned that, Joy in Hong Kong. Novella means adore in Shangaan. It's a beautiful, beautiful word. I love it. I really do. Adore. Novella. We actually put Novella's naming to the viewers as a poll. We gave a choice and I'm very, very glad Novella got chosen. That was the one I wanted. She's so small, but she's also getting so big. What's up? And of course, for the younger two, Novella and Intima's son, they've lost the older cubs. All that bonding they had, all that love and care and fun they had with Shimbulu and Ngwazi, they've gone. They've disappeared. They may come back. They may... What is wrong? I'm crying here. I think we might be finally getting somewhere. We're taking on an alternative method to suckling here. It's not normally the positioning. Oh, okay, yeah, we're getting there. Took a while, didn't it? Good job, June. Persistence paid off for you as a mother. Edward, 100%. June is such a patient mum. That was a lot of back and forth. Cup was nervous for some reason, not happy, and that was a lot of come on now, come on now, come on now. Yes, very patient. June's a good hyena. I've got a lot of love for June. She's always sort of just been in the middle. That stable friend that we all have who's never up, never down. That's that friend that you can rely on. That's June. And she's beautiful. She's been through the wars. She's obviously got Sutu. She's done very, very well with Sutu. You regularly see them together. Sutu's her older daughter. And of course now she's got little Novella. About to end, but we just watched. About to end.
We've actually found a beautiful kudu. There's a whole family group of them here, but what you're looking at now is a big male, and he is a massive, massive big animal. It's something that we should expect. Again, we talk about the environment, but imagine living in the hardest conditions. In this environment, nature has no place for a weaker animal. So the biggest guys make it to maturity, and he is an absolute massive animal. And he's fortunate enough to be nice and big and strong, and close to him he's got a couple of the ladies, and there's actually a couple of youngsters as well. So nice typical group of kudu, basically a harem system. The male is effectively trying to defend his group of ladies from any other males in the area. But late afternoon, they're enjoying a last bit of sun, last bit of food before they start looking for a safe place to spend the evening. But really beautiful animals, blending in very nicely with their environment there. Liam, it's a very good question about horns, and it's something I'd actually have to go and I'd have to look up. You know, when they talk about horns, they're usually talking about things like Roland Ward, which would be a hunting term and a hunting measurement. I would imagine kudu would be in the bigger end of that scale. But having said that, I would imagine that even things like your sable, in particular your sable, and those long sweeping horns, I wouldn't be surprised if you'd be looking at something like that with a record. But for sure, kudu would be in the top few antelope in terms of horn length. And obviously when they measure them, they measure from the base to the tip, and they follow the twirl on the horns there. So yeah, I'm not sure if it is. I'd be lying if I told you it was, but I'd put it in the top few of the antelope. But perhaps things like sable with those sweeping horns, perhaps a little bit bigger. And as for the other guys, I don't think anyone's too much bigger than a kudu. Very pretty. So interestingly, they are spectacular. I'm just going to quickly go back to Liam's question, and I actually managed to find a little bit of info while we were watching them. And the greater kudu is considered to be the antelope with the longest horns. So your question asking if they had the longest horns, you would be correct. It seems that they are considered to be the antelopes with the longest horns. So there you go. And in this region, I have never seen kudus as big as these guys. But very special, beautiful, lovely scenery, gorgeous sunlight at this time of day. Really a fantastic view. You can see the grass blowing there in front of the kudu there. The evening wind is slowly but surely starting to pick up. An animal like a kudu, they're smart enough to know that when the wind picks up, it knocks out their sense of smell, their sense of hearing. It makes them feel a bit more vulnerable. So from where they are now in a fairly open environment, for sure they're going to start tucking into the thicker vegetation as the evening goes on. One, to break the wind to help keep themselves warm. But two, there'll be a better feeling of security if they can block the wind and they can use their nose and their ears properly. They'll feel more comfortable. They'll feel more secure. And they'll definitely need to do that. There's a couple of little guys in the group there, so Mom will be doing her best to make sure that they're well protected. White mane, if you look at a kudu, the larger antelope with the bigger heads and the larger horns have got those humps on the neck. It's really just a massive muscle. And I mean, if you look at the size of that guy and you look at the power that he's got in those forequarters, it's just to house all of that. So he's just got more developed muscle than some of the other antelope. It's quite common to see on antelope that will spend time up in the mountains. They've got a lot of power up front there. And obviously where you need power up front, you need big, strong muscles to help. Big, thick neck, big head. So that hump, really just a nice lump of muscle there. It's actually quite nice to see them so peaceful. They're very alert kudus. They're not overly fond of being spotted. So more often than not, when you see them, they run and get to thick cover as quick as possible. But these ones are enjoying the spot they found. Busy chewing the cud. Processing food they've eaten earlier in the day, it seems. I haven't actually seen them take anything off the tree, so it appears that they're not actively feeding at the moment, not browsing at the moment. Craig, it's an interesting question you ask. In South Africa, anything we refer to as a buck would be a type of antelope. So certainly in Southern Africa, we only have antelope. Where it would get a bit confusing in other parts of the world, you've got things like deer, but we have no such species in South Africa. So every type of antelope you see, we could refer to a buck, and therefore a buck being an antelope. Having obviously been speaking quite a lot about that beautiful male kudu and those big horns, that would be one of the differences between antelope and deer. Is deer do not get horns. They refer to them as antlers, and it would be almost like a keratin growth, and that they shed year to year. If you were to look at that beautiful male kudu, those horns, you can almost look at that horn, the base of it being an extension of the skull. So it's solid bone from his skull, and then has a keratin covering. So it has a protective keratin layer on top of it. And that alone is one of the big differences between deer and antelope. To confuse issues, certainly in other parts of the world, people do refer to buck as well, so often referring to the males in particular.
You can see that swollen joint of his. Look at how his nose is down. See, he's sniffing. Facing the wrong way, boy. You were going the right way. Little contact call. A little contact call. Now, sometimes that contact call will be frustrating enough for him when they don't answer that he needs to use a bigger roar for everybody to listen. We'll see if he does. That's not ideal. Get rid of that. We don't want stumps hitting us in the head. David, are you all right? They're wonderful. I actually had once, I was working at a lodge where one of the guides was driving, and it happened exactly like that, where you just clip the edge of the stick and it just pops up. Shame, and it hit this lady in the face and it split her whole face open. So one must be careful when one is off-roading here. But sticks like that, you'll never know. You're just going to have to... I can see where the other lines are there in front of us. So sticks like that, you've just got to, unfortunately, it's part and parcel. You'll never see it in this long grass. That stick is almost invisible, but if you just clip it in the wrong way, then you get this issue. I'm going to just park here because you should come out in front of us. The rest of the lines are crossing the dam wall. Boy, you're going the wrong way. The rest of them are that side. Be interesting to see how long it takes him to realize that they haven't walked there.
Good morning, everyone. We're giving you the most delicious views of the sunrise, which, to be honest, is already quite high in the sky. But we are getting ready for our sunrise safari. Of course, that sun is going to get higher and higher, deliver more light and deliver more warmth. All the nocturnal animals, well, they're getting ready to hunker down and sleep all day. All the diurnal animals, they'll be awake. It's time to eat all day. I love this time of day. It is just the best. So, everyone, hi again. My name is Lauren. I do have Morgan on camera, and I must apologize. We are late today. Morgan did not wake up. Everyone, he decided not to wake up. It took us a really long time to get Morgan awake, and that's why we're late. So, Morgan, say sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, that's not true. He was awake. Morgan's actually always awake. But we did have some technical issues. The internet was down. It's amazing what happens when the internet goes down. Everybody just loses their mind. You forget how much you rely on internet. I remember when I was at high school, we did not have things like this. This was not the setup. We were not glued to our phones like we are today. So apologies from Morgan that we're late today. But we're out now, and that's what matters. So, everyone, this safari is live, which is why we have hiccups, and it's interactive. So please do talk to us. Use the hashtag WildEarth on Twitter, @FC on the YouTube chat, or if you wish, you can head over to the WildEarth website. As long as you've registered, you can actually submit your questions under the live safari page. Kids, most important, you are the future. So please do talk to us. Don't make your questions too difficult, because then I'll struggle, but send them in all the same. And you send them in via email so that we're alerted to them. And that is kidssquestions@wildearth.tv. Tell us your name, your age, where you're from, and your favorite animal, along with your favorite pizza topping. And when we get your questions, I will say all of that information live. There you go. How does that sound? Okay, Morgan, shall we bumble? Are you awake?
Off. Still waking up.
It was so difficult waking Morgan up this morning, I'll tell you. Anyway, my plan for today is to literally bumble, see what we can find. I am going to scratch around Gowrie Main. Being very naughty is what you call lurking on the sidelines. You know, these neighbours that stay at their window with the binocular, that's pretty much what I'm going to do to try and view the hyena den. We will see hyenas if we just lurk around for long enough. So that's exactly where I'm going to bumble off to, and you guys are going to bumble over to Cedric.
Good morning and welcome again to Djuma Private Game Reserve. We are currently at Sandy Patch. We came to check if maybe the line crossed from Bristol Shook to Djuma. No luck yet. It was a beautiful sunrise this morning. My name is Cedric. I have Dorvi on the camera with me today. Yeah, so our plan for today on our side would be checking the northern western part of Djuma, and then we will make our way on Triple M and see what we can find. Hopefully it will be a good day, but we're in a good positive mood and we're looking forward to find some nice sightings. Yeah, it's very quiet here at the moment, so I think we will keep on going. We apologize, we started a bit late this morning. Some technical issues. But everything is sorted now, so we're very excited to be out. Yeah, so the Termite was just north of Djuma on Buffalo Shook yesterday, so I was hoping maybe they moved south into Djuma, so we'll keep on looking here. If we found any tracks or any report of a location, we'll try to locate them. It is a beautiful morning. Some clouds in the sky, but it looks like it's going to be not too hot today, which is nice. Okay, we will continue on this road and hopefully be lucky.
I'm Maggie, also known as Mia My Cat on Twitter. I purchased the Ticket to Dreams so that I would make it back to Africa someday, so here I am. I enjoy WildEarth very much. Just the experience it brings to everybody, it just helps everybody cope with things.
If you want to go on safari with a WildEarth guide, whilst honing your bush knowledge and of course featuring in one of our shows, then head over to our website.
My favorite part about today is seeing Mariggs, seeing him stalk the waterbuck and seeing the interaction between the waterbuck and him, and he's just an impressive little guy.
Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer and you could be making your first ever on-screen appearance.
It's very exciting to be on a live drive at Djuma, to see how things work in the back and to be certainly much closer to the animals.
As one of the industry's best and Fagasa Indoors training institutes, NJ Moorfield Guide College produces professional guides of exceptional caliber and gives students from around the world an incredible experience. NJ Moore offers courses to suit all types of interests. The full-length career course results in a Fagasa accredited qualification and the option of a 6-month internship at one of Moore Family Collection's luxury safari lodges. Shorter courses are a great introduction for those considering a career in field guiding or even a life-enriching experience in your gap year. With spaces still available in July, don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity to live your African dream.
My name is Ross and I'm a field guide at andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve. I love getting questions from guests on WildEarth because I love sharing and learning information about nature with new people, and it also makes me feel like you're all joining me in real life. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, go to our live safari page and submit your question below our live feed.
We're still just sitting here admiring the sunrise. Don't do that often enough. And once the sun gets too hot, it becomes almost impossible to look at and really not good for your eyes. So we stop appreciating it. The sun is life. Everything we do centers around the sun. So at least when it's low and it's giving off that sort of amber and orange and red and yellow color palette, that's when we should look at it. But once it gets too harsh, it becomes impossible. And I think we're going to keep bumbling. We're a little bit behind schedule, as you know, which means we're behind the animals. I like to get out early. I like to get out when the animals are moving. But at least what you do have is the evidence around you. So this is quite a prominent junction, a four-way on quarantine. And this is a really, really good place to just stop and look at tracks. I don't see anything other than impala. I do feel Djuma's particularly quiet right now on the leopard front, but Rexon came to join us for dinner last night, which was so lovely, and we're just having chats about this leopardess that's got cubs in Buffelshoek, and I said, Rexon, who is it? And he said, everyone's assuming it's Luna, but the behaviour of this leopardess is not the behaviour of Luna. It's apparently some very relaxed female, I believe, with two cubs from the Manguleti side. That's obviously naturally crossing down into Buffelshoek, going back into the Manguleti, crossing down, moving. And I don't know who she is, but it's not Luna. So there's a leopardess with cubs in Buffelshoek. And I'd really, really love to see who she is. But this sort of led us to talk about there are so many leopards here than we realize. Sometimes when we say, we're following the tracks of Kalamba, is it? Did you see Kalamba make those tracks? There are a lot of leopards. The density is even higher than we realize, I think, especially with those more transient individuals that are sort of just moving through. If you think back 2 weeks ago, Darby and I had that very young, relaxed male that came from the Timbavati. I still don't believe he has a name. And we saw him, we had this really lovely sighting with him. He sniffed the car, he just sort of spent some time with us, and then he disappeared into the dark. We never saw him again. Has he left Djuma? Will he ever return to Djuma? Possibly not. So the leopard movement. I have no comms once again. Did you get that, Morgan? Oh, that's jolly good. Jared, it appears Morgan and I don't have comms. Did you get that? Okay, we have no comms on Wendy. So what we are going to do is give you a beautiful view of the skyline.
Good morning and welcome to WildEarth. We're live at Eco Trading Pridelands and out on Bushwalk. As normal, we're starting our walk at one of the dams, checking some tracks, and then from there on moving off. My name is JP LaRue, and behind the camera we've got Mampo. And meanwhile, our resident Hippo is right in front of us in the pool. Let's see what he gets up to. For For those of you who have joined us for the first time, this hippo has recently made his way back into the area after he had disappeared for several months. We're very happy to have him back again. So hopefully one of these days he might have a girlfriend or two that might come and join him. It's very likely that this is one of the males that's been pushed off by a more dominant bull out of another area. So quite often we find that males that are upcoming in size and they can start contending for territories with other bulls get pushed off. This quite often is done through a lot of aggression and serious fighting, and these males then will wander off. It's quite often males that has been subjected to constant harassment of a dominant bull that are quite unpredictable and dangerous. Fortunately for us, this guy is very relaxed. So normally when hippos are not happy with you, they will let you know, quite often by simply opening their mouth, as well as showing their teeth, as an aggression signal. Well, as we start our walk, we're going to go and see what we can go and find for the morning. But let's go and see what Cedric has on offer.
So we did reach Triple M. We're currently going south. So we keep looking. This is where I actually saw Kara the first day I arrived. So I think it's worth trying. Yeah, so she was in the tree with a kill. It was very nice. But that was a few days ago. We didn't find any lion's tracks, so I'm not sure if they did cross to Djuma. But we're still looking. It's been a quite amazing week for me, I must say, spending time with you on drive. I do have today and tomorrow still. So I'm quite excited about that. So we're not far from Gary, Main now. So we will turn east on Gary, Main next, and then maybe go into the block and see what we can find there. Freddy, you would like to know if I know why there's so many leopards in the Sabi stand? I am not sure, but it's true that there's a lot of leopard. Generally found lots of leopard where there's less, but there's also lots of lions here, so it is quite amazing. One reason might be you might find other reserve where there's quite a lot of leopard as well, but they are less habituated to the cars, so they will be more shy and maybe go hide a bit more and be less relaxed. But it's true that there's a lot of leopards in the Sabi, and it is quite amazing. It is one of the best locations for leopards, definitely. Okay, so we will continue driving and see what we can find.
So good morning from Tswalu Kalahari. I am going to be leading you on your safari this morning. My name is John. Behind the cameras we have Gerrit this morning, and we were thinking of heading out onto the dunes and seeing who's out and about this morning. Megan, good morning. It's a great question. First of all, there are a decent numbers of leopard in the Tswalu vicinity. With the Kronenberg Mountains, there's a very healthy population. Not necessarily the easiest to find out here, and obviously because of the terrain, the habitat, this huge, vast tracts of land where there's no access point unless you're walking in. Yes, I have seen, and certainly the team at Tswalu, we do see them, but certainly not an everyday sighting. In this habitat, we're really favouring seeing obviously the nice big healthy lions and a huge cheetah population out here. But the leopards, for the most part, really restricted to the mountains and the valleys. And not so much on the vast sand dunes that we see. So yes, we do see them, and I certainly have, but not as often as we'd like to. As I was saying, for the morning, we're going to be heading out towards the west a little bit, out to the dunes, and hopefully as it warms up, animals are up and about. Just to give you an idea of what the morning conditions are like at the moment, there is a little bit of a cold front moving through, and I know certainly other parts of South Africa were hit with it a few days ago. So it's reached us now. So as we headed out a few minutes ago, temperature sitting at about -2 degrees Celsius. So you can imagine it's rather chilly. But the sun should be coming up in the next few minutes, and we'll eventually get over those Kronenberg Mountains. And typically, as I've said many times, as it starts warming up, we'll start seeing a little bit more activity. The animals are smart enough to try and take a bit of cover in the ice-cold condition, but as soon as that sun pops up over the mountains, we should start seeing everyone poking their heads up out of the bush again. But a beautiful, typical day of winter safari. Not a cloud in the sky. It's going to be a beautiful blue, clear sky again. And yeah, should be warming up fairly soon. As we're driving along, you may notice, talking about winter and cold conditions, but very typical now, the grasses are starting to thin out quite rapidly. It's been a great year so far in terms of rain, so I think this winter will be considerably easier on everyone, but you'll certainly have noticed a change. The grass is starting to thin, lots of trees will be losing leaves, so really kicking it into the true winter as we know it.
Yeah, so we just turn off Gary Main into the block. About why there's so many leopards. It might be also because there's a lot of food for them. There's a lot of prey species, so they can thrive. And also you find very good den site for the female when they have cubs in this area. So that might explain why we do get so many leopards here. But the good thing is that they are also very relaxed, which make it easier to see them. Oh, sorry, I was not quick enough. There was two little dikers here, close to the little pond there. So this is where we saw Moya for the second time. Well, Lawrence saw a bit at the back, and then this is where Moya came to lie in the grass. And at one stage I know she was interested in one of the dikers in that area. So yeah, we missed them. So there was two dikers standing around the water all day. Okay, well, I don't see much. I think we'll continue on this road and maybe try Treehouse Dam and see if there's anything there. It is very nice to be out and driving. I'm hoping for a fun day today. Kim, you would like to know what have been the most difficult animal to track? That's a good question. I would say leopards are quite difficult if you're not used to it and if you don't know the area very well. Yeah, for the predators, wild dogs, it is a bit easier because there's more tracks, because they are quite a big group. But the issue with wild dogs is that they move very fast. So if you try to track wild dogs and they found something to hunt, they will be cutting blocks and running very fast to try to catch, and you might easily lose them. Yeah, you have to be fast with wild dogs. So there was a report of wild dogs a bit north of Djuma yesterday, and if I'm not mistaken, this morning. So we're also hoping that they will move south today or maybe tomorrow or the next few days. It would be nice to see some wild dogs. It's not always easy to follow them, especially when they start hunting. It is a beautiful morning, as we went out a little bit late, which I apologize again. It's a little bit warmer already. Okay, so we'll continue there and we'll send you to John in the meantime.
Welcome back again. We are still bumbling along here and enjoying the early morning colours. You'll see within the next half an hour. I mentioned sunrise at the moment is at about 20 past 7. It is lighter from a little bit before then, but what's really beautiful about this environment, you with these rich red coloured sands, the sparse vegetation, is as the sun starts actually coming up, you'll really start seeing the colours of the vegetation, the colours of the soil, and how the sky will start changing. I see a bit of a glow coming up over the mountains there. Always a promising start when you see that light peeking over the top. See, this is always one of my toughest questions to answer. What has been my best experience on Tswalu? Tswalu in itself is an experience. It's such a vast, almost untouched area. We have a massive amount of land available to ourselves, and very few people are out and about here. It's a true wilderness feeling. In terms of wildlife, there's really too many to tell. I've had some incredible encounters with lions and lion cubs. Cheetah, we've even recently we've been very privileged to have a couple of those two cheetah boys are starting to bring down some of the bigger animals again. So, taking down the oryx. But for me, one of the real highlights out here and best experiences is our night viewing. The foxes, the badger foxes, the pangolins, the aardvarks. Very seldom are you seeing those anywhere else in the country, and certainly not with the frequency that we get the privilege of seeing them. So in terms of my best experiences, it 100% would have to be those guys. Catching them out and about in the evenings and really having them to ourselves, not having to share them with really too many people. I think just to add on to that same question is one of the things that we are privileged to in this area. There's a big history of this area. There's a big cultural history. There's a couple of sites where we are able to go and look at the sand Bushman art, and I'm talking the most primitive form of art, petroglyphs, so literally hand-chipped pictures and drawings into the rocks. When you start digging a little deeper into those kind of things, you'll realize that there's so much that used to be here, used to go on here, and fortunately we have the ability to keep some of that alive and to protect it as best we can. So that's also, from an experience point of view, it's an amazing thing to be able to head out there and to know that people have been here for hundreds of thousands of years and have kept a log of where they were and what they were doing, what they were seeing. And obviously now we get the privilege of being able to show you the same things that they were seeing all those many years ago. So we're going to keep going, check out some of the water holes and wait for the sun to warm us up.
As the sun goes down in Africa, for many, the day has just begun. WildEarth is ready for the next brand new concept, and this time it's at night. A specialized thermal drone will take to the air under the cover of darkness. As it flies above the bush, it will be searching for hotspots on the ground.
We might have a leopard on the far right of this group of hyena.
The ground team will then be called to identify the animal.
It is a warthog. That's exactly what it is. So there we go. It was a warthog that was running away from... Sorry, Warty.
And of course, it is at this time when the big cats are on the hunt.
Yeah, James, just head a little bit more left.
Okay, Gabi, I'm going to go north around on Impala Road.
Okay, the lions are on the move, guys. Lions are chasing the wildebeest.
WildEarth is looking for a sponsor who can help turn this show to a long-running series. If you are interested, then head over to our website to find out more. wildearth.tv/sponsors. Across southern and East Africa, the Endangered Wildlife Trust works tirelessly to save species, protect critical habitats, and benefit people. Join the EWT in returning wildlife to the wild. Go to ewt.org.za to find out more and follow our socials to see how you can get involved. Protecting forever, together.
I love being a cam op for WildEarth. The animals coming right up close to you, especially like lions. Sometimes you get nervous, but you have to go with the flow. My favorite animal to film is the elephant because of how big it is. But when it's really up close to you, it's one animal that you would say, I really respect you.
Guys, just watch what's happening. See, watch the elephant, watch the lions. See, the first ones to run are the cubs. Can you see them? They are right here. I'm not sure how scared you were, but I was quite nervous. But absolutely incredible.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Welcome back with me. We're currently on Philemon's cut line. We did check Trias Dam. It was very quiet, which is not unusual for this time of the day. Obviously the animal go drink generally when it gets a bit warmer. I think what we will try when we get to the junction in front of us, see if there's any trucks going in any direction, and if there's nothing, we might try Zoe's Road. Vicky, you would like to know if wild dogs are scared of other predators? Yeah, they will be scared mainly when they are, if it's a single wild dog, but when they are in the pack, they're quite okay with it. But it can happen that lions kill wild dog, or other predators even kill wild dog, but that happens mainly when they are alone. When they are part of the pack, they're quite protected and they're quite fast, so they often tease the other predators sometimes. We see that with hyenas as well. There's a lot of interaction between hyenas and wild dogs because the hyenas like to follow the wild dogs when the wild dogs are on the hunt. The reason why is the hyena want to steal the kill. But yeah, I think they feel pretty safe when they are in the pack all together. But of course it can happen that they get killed, especially by lions sometimes. There have been some reports of wild dogs being killed by lions. It is very quiet here. Just checking quickly if there's any tracks on that junction. Nothing, so let's go try Zoe's Road. Maybe can find something there. Come back to that question of wild dogs. Also, this is why also wild dogs will have denning site, a bit like the hyenas, because the young will always be in danger from bigger predators, so they like to hide in the den. Okay, so we will continue here. In the meantime, we will send you to Tswalu.
So here we have the first of our morning wildlife. It certainly seems like some of the early risers for the morning, but a beautiful little group of springbuck. And quite typical of the springbuck, they prefer these more open environments. Happy to feed along the vegetation here, but more importantly, especially in the evenings, it's open enough that they can, in a group, they can feel safe. But yeah, they're enjoying a little bit of an early morning breakfast. Like I said, it's really the first wildlife we've seen this morning, so a good sign of how cold it really is here at the moment. But they seem to be okay. They seem to be enjoying their early morning out. But such a beautiful, beautiful antelope. I mean, really incredible guys, and very much restricted to these drier environments. They certainly not something you'd see in the true bushveld. But do very well in this arid environment, and from here all the way through to the Kalahari National Park, I mean literally in their hundreds and hundreds of thousands. So very, very common for us to see. Nice to see them nice and close to the roads. Interestingly, you can see where they are feeding. They're moving between the little thickets, and that should or would be typical of the wind that's blowing. So you can see through the camera there, you can see the grass and the bushes moving. So there's a little bit of a breeze that's picked up, obviously still bringing some of that cold weather through. But animals are smart. They'll move behind thickets, get into thickets. There's still good food in there, but it protects them from the wind. And protecting from wind, it's not just about keeping warm, it's about keeping your sense of smell and your sense of hearing, keeping it from being impacted by that wind and knocking those senses out. If you knock those senses out, you potentially are going to be on the menu. So being very smart and moving off in between the thickets there. But let's keep going and see who else is out and about. Shan, again another nice question to ask. We at Tswalu would definitely not have the big five. Water is an incredibly limited resource out here in this very arid environment. So the animal that would struggle the most would be the big African elephants. Because water is such a limited resource, it would really, really restrict the movement of those big animals, and they just wouldn't be enough to sustain them as they need. Vegetation, it's a tricky one to answer in terms of whether or not we'd have enough to support elephants. We've got lots and lots of thickets, lots and lots of valleys, but our winter season is incredibly harsh. I mean, winter in most areas with wildlife in South Africa, the conditions can be harsh. But imagine this to be the harshest of environments, and for that reason. So we just wouldn't be able to sustain them from a food and water perspective. And in fact, in the Kalahari, if you ever do see elephant, it might be one or two trying to move from a point to another. I know certainly in the Kalahari National Park there's been 1 or 2 over the years, but they don't do well. They end up at a water source and they really stuck there. So they're not going to stick around for too long. You know, having said water is a limited resource, our average rainfall is, you know, we refer to this as the green Kalahari, so it's not in the truest form of desert where you know your rainfall is an absolute minimal. We get a little bit more, but our evaporation rate would be about 10 times what our average rainfall is. So water tough to find at this time of year.
Good morning and welcome back onto Bushwalk. We're just busy looking at these interesting little structures that has been created by termites and made little holes that lead to access tunnels that go towards the main termite mound. And they've just been plugged up to prevent that ants can come into them. So we often find that ants are one of the biggest threats to termites when it comes to their safety and well-being. And one of those species of ants that we have in this area that specializes on feeding on termites is known as matabele ants or African hissing ants, which will execute organized raids on termite colonies. And quite often when we do find them, they'll be walking off with a large number of termites, all stuck into their jaws and going back to their own nest. One of the things that we see what differs ants from termites is the fact that the ants have a nest while the termites have a mound. To come back towards the termites, they're probably one of the most important of all insects of this whole ecosystem. They are responsible for recycling dead plant material back in nutrients into minerals that can be reabsorbed by plants. I also find it particularly interesting that they also play an important food source for a number of different species of birds. And we also find that many species of eagles will coincide their routes and migration times with the eruption of rain. And as with there's eruption of rain, we also have an eruption of a late, which is a flying termite, which then will fuel their whole migration journey in and out of Africa. So something else that I do find quite particularly interesting is that termites can't break down their own food, as plant material is virtually indigestible. In most animals, they have specialized bacteria that's in the gut that will do so. In the case of termites, they also have protozoa, which lives inside the gut, but will assist with the breaking down of the food. And some species have also evolved strategies where they will feed their waste product to bacteria and funguses that will then break down the food for them into a usable form.
We have just made it to the Misikaya, which means the home of the hyenas. Morgan, can you get any sort of visual? It's not going to be the world's greatest visual. But if they were all milling around and, well, being hyenas, we would see them. We would hear them. The entrance is just on the right-hand side there through the thicket. But if there was activity, I think we would be able to pick it up. I remember they did this 2 years ago, Corky, when she was in charge, when she was matriarch. They also moved to Little Gowrie, and this must have been the den that they used. So this is very much part of the network of dens that the Djuma clan use. And yes, it's not on Djuma, but I mean it's 20 meters or so off Gowrie Main. So it is visible for us. Sadly, not active. I think I'm going to scratch around Chitwa though, because they seem to be spending a lot of time on Chitwa. Chitwa's a fantastic little property. It's like a funnel. It's got the Mulwanini. It's very small, but what that means is it borders lots of active properties. So everything comes through. It's got the dam. It's got a big open area with lots of sort of antelope. Chitwa, it really, what we see here, it really pumps. Most of the time. But sadly, no activity at the Hyena Den. One day we'll drive past and it will be active, and it's highly likely that they'll move back to Djuma soon. They'll keep moving. Now that Navella and Tima's son are getting older, they will keep moving dames. It'll be in Tima's decision now that Ribbon is no longer dame bound with her, well, with Ngwazi. And Tima will be the one now who decides when they move the dame. Just because we call them the Djuma clan doesn't mean that they're always on Djuma. Oh, hello. Look at that, Morgan. Wow. That was close. No, it's a kugel. A birchos, I think. It was very, very close in the tree there, but naturally, I scared it. Of course, not intentionally. We are about to go through a dip here. It's just a Mulwati and it goes whoop. We lose signal for about 2 seconds, but then it pops back up again. So don't worry. It's just the dip of the Mulwati. Jared, can I just make sure you're still there? We've been having some comms problem this morning. I just want to make sure my director's still there and I've still got him. Still there. Okay, we're going to go through the dip now. We're going to go fast. And then we will pop out again at the other side. But I'm not the only one on the move. Cedric, also bumbling.
So we're making our way back to quarantine. We got some report that the Termite Pride is still north of Djuma, but might be heading south. So we're going to go there and see if maybe we cross into Djuma. That would be great. But obviously we're still driving slowly and look around if we can't find something else in the meantime. So now our plan is to drive on quarantine and then on Galago link towards the northern boundary of Djuma. It would be nice to see them again. And we saw beautiful little beetles on quarantine yesterday. Maybe this afternoon we can look and maybe stop for a couple of seconds to look at them if they are back. They are very pretty birds. Quarantine seems to be very quiet this morning. There's some impalas far down, but other than that I can't see much. I really hope that we can find the lions this morning. It would be great to see. I'm not sure how many there are in the pride at the moment. And hopefully when we get there, if we found them, they will be on the move Instead of lying down and resting, it would be better if they are on the move. Jerome, you would like to know if when lions are on Djuma, if they scare the predators away. Not really, because lions are territorial, so they're used to be in that section because this is part of their territory. And leopards also are territorial, so their territory obviously overlap. Obviously other predators will be a bit more careful, but they might move a little bit further from the lions, but they will still be in the area. Leopards tend to move away from lions, obviously, because it is a bit dangerous for them, especially when they have cubs. But there will still be leopards and other predators on Djuma when the lions are here. So we just turn on Galago Link there, heading north. It is a very slow morning for us. But it is quite nice to hear that the lions are moving south. Even if we can't find them maybe this morning, maybe later this afternoon, or even tomorrow morning they might be on Djuma. But you never know. They can change direction so quickly. Okay, so we'll continue there and make our way to the northern boundary.
South African Guide of the Year has been an event that we have all been looking forward to. However, South Africa has gone into lockdown level 4, which means we will no longer be able to hold the ceremony this week. The assessments in the bush will still carry on, however the awards will take place later in the year when it is safe to do so. We are looking after those who look after our natural world. Thank you for your understanding. We really do appreciate your support.
As one of the industry's best and Fagasa endorsed training institutes, NJ Moorfield Guide College produces professional guides of exceptional caliber and gives students from around the world an incredible experience. NJ Moore offers courses to suit all types of interests. The full-length career course results in a Fagasa accredited qualification and the option of a 6-month internship at one of Moore Family Collection's luxury safari lodges. Shorter courses are a great introduction for those considering a career in field guiding or even a life-enriching experience in your gap year. With spaces still available in July, don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity to live your African dream.
My name is Lauren and I'm currently working in Djuma Private Game Reserve here in South Africa. I love answering your questions during the live safaris. It's my favorite part. It feels like you're on the vehicle with me and I'm able to teach you exactly what you want to know. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, you must go to the live safari page and ask your question below the live feed.
baby pangolin. This is off the charts. This animal is about from your fingertips to your elbow. That's the total length of this animal. This is unreal. This is unreal. This is unreal. This is like now my 4th Christmas in a week. We should do this more often.
Tune into WildEarth every single day. It's in your nature.
So we are now heading up into the dunes, and just by chance we've picked up tracks of at least one cheetah on the road, literally going in the same direction. So perhaps we get lucky, perhaps there's one or two of them sitting out on the dunes. I always think at this time of day you can see how the light has now really got onto these nice areas, and obviously the sun is up now officially. It's come up from behind the mountains, so it's certainly going to start warming up the ground. And I would always think any self-respecting cheetah that's been out here in the ice cold weather would be lying out on these dunes. So we're going to have a little look around, and we're going to send you over to Lauren, who's obviously found something.
Morning coffee with the Queen, who's on the move. Look at that tail. We've got Miss Tandy, and we're actually on Torchwood, which is fantastic news. Okay, we're not very deep into Torchwood, but we're on Torchwood all the same. We do have Traverse here. It's just been tricky with signal lately, but it's nice to sort of be driving on Torchwood again. I'm going to go forward, Morgan, because she's a very easy cat to lose. She gives you what we call here at WildEarth the Tandy slip. Kalamba has definitely learned that skill as well. You can just see her tail though. She's raising that white flag. Hey everyone, I'm just chilling, I'm just walking, I'm not here to hurt you, I'm not going to hunt you. But the thing is, she will. But she's trying to tell the Franklins and the guinea fowl and the impala and the inyala. So calm down, guys. Don't make a noise. No need to sound your alarm, because I'm not going to hurt you. She doesn't want these animals. There she's just. We'll give you one last view, because I don't know how long we're going to have her for. There we go. There's Tandy. We're going to send you guys over to Cedric.
Yeah, so we did bump into the Pride coming in just at the moment in Djuma. There's a few vehicles around, I apologize. That was a good surprise. And I saw that was one male lion with them, which is dark mane on the left. I'm just going to reposition quickly and see if we can get a better look. Sorry. You can see Darkman will probably move a little bit now and we'll see him. There he comes on the right there. There's lots of bloods on their legs, so they probably had a kill. Well, obviously. I know yesterday some people wanted to found dark mane. There we go. Thank you very much. So let's follow them and see where they goes. Sounds like it's a good morning with Tandy and now the Termite Pride with Darkmane. Like they were coming south, but now they turn and they're heading in the western direction. Maybe they might stop shortly and we can get a better look from in front. Oh, very nice. They went on a termite mount there. Just going to stop here. There's a nice view of a I'm going to go forward soon. I just wanted to show you that. So basically it's a good advantage point for them to go on Termite Mount and look around if there's any prey. About that. Beautiful. So it is, if I'm not mistaken, the third time I'm spending time with them, and only the second time with Darkmane. I'm very happy we found them this morning. They were on Buffalo Shook for a couple of days and now they just came into Djuma. You might have seen some of them have a lot of blood on their legs and chest, so they probably had a kill. You can see some full tummies as well. Look like they're heading south again. I think we'll follow them on this road. So I'm saying bye to the other vehicle there who let us join the sighting. So it was nice from them. So they are on the move. We never know. They seem to be looking around, so even if they had food recently, they might be, if they have a chance to kill again. They are very opportunistic. It would be better to see a front view of them, but unfortunately it's very thick on the side, so I can't pass them at the moment. Two of them are leaving the road. Three of them now. Not sure why. Maybe they're trying to position themselves in a way there's any prey in front. They get a better angle of attack. If they I'm not pretty sure where this road goes, but it looks like it's going south.
Managed to keep up with Miss Tandy. It's not been easy, but she's just here. There we go. And you know, when you see Tandy, and trying to give you some perspective, she's really tiny. She's a very petite, dainty, feminine little leopardess, and Kalamba's bigger than Tandy, 100%. And Tandy's older, but Moya's even bigger than Tandy. Now that I spent yesterday morning with Moya and this morning with Tandy, Tandy's tiny. She's really tiny. You can imagine her next to a big male leopard. They would dwarf her. And I think sometimes maybe that perspective doesn't always come across naturally. But she's really not a big animal, which will work to her advantage. She's flexible. She's dainty on her feet, she's light, she's quiet. That will naturally work to her advantage. And she's got to stalk, she's got to ambush. Now, don't get me wrong, she's got power. That cat has got power, but she's just really, really small. Okay, let's see if we can still keep up with her. I think she's left Maribs on Chitwa. But let's just see how far we can keep up with Tandy for. It has been such an extremely lucky time with leopards recently. I'm the only person with Tandy. Standing by, Aubrey. Hey, firm, I'm with Tandy. She's mobile north, heading north into Torchwood. Bear with me, everyone.
Crossing Gale Katla and so I'll let you know when I cross. Like to come over here.
Copy, Obs. I'll do my best to stick with her. Bear with me, everyone. My entire radio and earpiece has fallen into the ground.
Tell me, where is she? Now she's crossing north, but where north did she cross?
You're some live. I'll get back to you. Okay, there we go. There is no decent place to keep these radios. I'm going to try and keep it here. All right, Morgan, are you ready to bumble again?
Stations, the telemetries are still moving, so...
Okay, she is heading north. Fingers crossed. One, we can keep up with her. Two, we have signal.
Good morning and welcome back to Bushwalk. We just found a large amount of damage that was being created by elephant on knob fawn that they've just recently pushed over. And what you can see over here is that they were simply after the roots of this plant. At the moment we'll also start noticing that a lot of the knob fawns are starting to make flowers and they start pushing the nutrients to the top. But generally most of the nutrients are stored inside the roots, and this is what they were looking for. They simply just took the outer layer that was around the roots and the rest of this was discarded. You can also see some fresh elephant dung over here. So when we look at how fresh and how recently it's been done, you can still feel that the outer sides of these roots are still damp, and then the dung itself is still nice and shiny over here. If we do break open the dung, we can actually feel the inside of it. Temperature has already started decreasing, and there's still a little bit warm on the inside, so it's probably been done in the last few hours. that he's been eating over here. I often find it very interesting to look inside the dung of elephants because there's such a wide range of different plant materials inside here. There's some 157 different plants that's been recorded that they will utilize within the area. So elephants can't really be picky when it comes to eating. They have to eat what there is. And it is also one of the reasons why they have to cover large areas to fuel themselves. And we also find that they cannot be selective or have territories for that specific reason. So just to give you an idea, they can consume up to some 300 kilograms of food in a single day for a full-grown bull. However, cows consume a considerable lesser amount, and only 40% of that is absorbed. And some of the other things that we often see them taking as well as flowers, fruits, seeds, some pods. Also quite a large amount of leaf material, and then bark and twigs that we'll find inside here.
We're sitting here with our female leopard who's finally stopped and given us some views. Isn't she beautiful? Let's just admire this gorgeous cat who's grooming herself in the morning sun. She's wet, the grass is wet, there's lots of moisture around and you can see it's giving Tandy a bit of a bath. Oh, look at that. I just look at Tandy and I feel small. I mean, I am quite small. But I just look at her remarkable ability to survive. I think as human... Oh, it's too cute. I'm suffering from cute aggression right now, everyone. I just want to squeeze you, Tandy. Tandy has done everything in her power as a female leopardess to survive, and not only survive, but thrive. Tandy is remarkable. And yes, she looks slightly older, of course she does. She can't go for Botox and facials and microdermabrasion and all of these wonderful things. She just survives. She has suffered loss. Definitely Tandy's suffered loss, but she's also had incredible amounts of success. Jelly, you're saying I can understand wanting one of your own when you see her. Wanting my own leopard. Yes, I want a leopard. Or wanting a baby. I'm not sure where to go with that comment, Jelly. I would, yes, love to have my own little leopard, but sadly, I'm not that graceful, elegant, or fierce. Nowhere near as graceful as dear old Tandy here, I can only wish. But we're going to try and keep following her for now. I'm going to send you guys over to Cedric.
Yeah, so we're still with the Telemates. They've been walking quite a lot, and now they stopped here around this termite. Sandy patch, which is a nice open area, and maybe we can try to pass them to get a better look, but they might also go left towards quarantine. But it looks like some of them want to rest a bit. There she goes down. I think we might continue on that road. This is the first time I see the Telemates on the move. I saw dogmen alone on the move, but both sightings are from the Telemates. They were lying on the grass. It was quite warm. You can see lots of bloods there. Lots of blood, sorry. That's a bit of bonding there. Okay, let's continue. Follow them. It is always nice when they stop and go on top of a termite mount. It's beautiful. Leo, 12 years old, you would like to know why male lions have a mane and female doesn't. Male lions have a mane for a few reasons. First of all, to protect them when they fight with other lions, so it can protect the neck and the head, around the head, and also it is to attract the female. So female lions tend to be more attracted to lions with big mane or dark mane, so it can be that reason as well. But it helps a lot when they fight for territories, when male lions fight for territories, that the mane can protect that area of their body. But thank you for your question, Leo. Obviously the mane differ from lions depending on the gene of different lions. Some lions have bigger mane and others have smaller mane. Also the color can differ from black to brown, and this is depending of the gene of the lion. I don't think we're too far from the other road. I'm not 100% sure because But it is still quite thick here, so unfortunately I can't pass them at the moment. Okay, so let's see where it goes. In the meantime, we will send you to John in Tswalu with some very tall animals.
So we are currently sitting with a lovely little journey of giraffe that we've just found. So we've managed to count 6 so far. Amazingly, giraffe, despite their incredible size and their very unusual shape, they have an amazing ability to blend into their background. So I say we've counted 6. Often when we get a bit closer, we find another 1 or 2 hidden in there somewhere. But I think for a lot of people, this is one of the top things people want to see when they visit South Africa. It is such a unique creature and really unique to Africa. There's a lot of wildlife in Africa that there are similar species in other parts of the world. But as I'm sure you all know, the giraffe is about as unique a creature as you can find. So definitely top on the list for visitors to the country, and always a treat to be able to sit and watch them. But this particular group, so it looks like a group of young ladies, and as I've said a few times already, they'll be enjoying this area at the moment. The sun is out, slowly but surely starting to warm up, and enjoying the nice species of trees here to feed on. I commented that young ladies, I'm not seeing any real mature adults as such. So perhaps it's a group of young animals that have ventured away from mom eventually and are now sticking together for social comfort and for safety in numbers. But definitely enjoying the morning sun and definitely enjoying these acacia trees that they're feeding on. The female giraffe wouldn't fight in the sense that, we know males fight for dominance, they fight for the attention of a female. Females really don't have any need to fight amongst themselves. What I've certainly seen is sometimes when they're feeding, there might be a little bit of a disagreement as to where an individual is and where another individual's trying to get to. So they may push and shove a little bit. But no, they don't fight for any particular reason within their groups. Obviously, when we refer to fighting, it could be fighting for their own survival. So, and again, I'm sure most people would know this. Giraffe are ferocious at defending themselves and defending their calves. And it's certainly something I've seen, and certainly it's available online to see these kind of interactions. But you get a couple of hyenas or a couple of lions harassing a young giraffe, and mom will put up a heck of a fight, kicking. So they don't fight much amongst themselves, but certainly will fight to protect themselves and their youngsters. I can assure you a kick from a giraffe is something you won't forget too easily. And even the biggest, the apex predators, the strength and the aggression with which a giraffe will kick, it'll make any predator think twice about getting too close. So you can see there the giraffe are slowly moving away. It's got nothing to do with us. They're very comfortable in our position, in our presence. But a lot of these tree species will naturally defend themselves by increasing tannin levels into their leaves. So when those tannin leaves, when the leaves start producing more tannin to protect the leaves from being browsed, the giraffe will naturally move on and look for a tree that hasn't yet started protecting itself. But let's enjoy these giraffe and enjoy the morning.
The annual Safari Guide of the Year competition aims to create awareness for those men and women who dedicate their lives to tourism and wildlife. This year's event will be held at Marataba, a breathtaking privately managed section of the Marakele National Park in South Africa's Limpopo province. In celebration of this, WildEarth and Marataba Luxury Lodges are offering all explorers a chance to win a 3-night stay at Marataba Safari Lodge for you and a friend. In addition to a spectacular land-based safari, Marataba Luxury Lodges offer an opportunity for guests to cruise peacefully along the Matlabas River, watching the animals as they drink and wallow. The lodge offers you a chance to lie by the pool or enjoy a spa treatment, and one night could be spent sleeping out under the stars in a luxurious treehouse. Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer before the 30th of June, and it could be you heading off on a long-awaited getaway. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature. The Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, WESA, encourages people to care for the earth. Through innovative projects, they aim to reverse the serious issues that we face in the world today. One of these projects is Green Coast, a proudly South African award for sensitive and well-managed coastal sites. This sustainability project protects our national coastlines while providing unemployed youth with a love for their environment and a hope for the future. WESA is a membership and volunteer-supported organization. Every supporter is helping to change the only earth we have. Visit our website to see how you can help care for our earth.
It's a huge privilege to be in these incredible places with these amazing animals. I love filming lions. When they do get up and do something, it's always spectacular. When they are playing, are incredibly fun to watch, especially subalterns and cubs. I love being in the bush and working in these incredible places with these amazing animals. We want to bring it to you so that you can almost feel like you're right there and be able to experience it and enjoy it the way we are.
She's a leopardess I've seen hunt the most. Tandy.
So I've been following them. They're now crossing in blocks, so it's a little bit more difficult to have good visual. They're heading still south, but they are off the road. There's still a few on the road there. But it looked like they're trying to look around if there's anything to hunt. Because they quite often separate themselves. But now they also decided to lie. So there's some of them on our road. Yeah, maybe we might stop around here now for the rest of the day. Female on My right is looking in a direction quite intensely, but now she stopped, so... You never know. Even if they ate earlier, today or yesterday, quite a big pride, so they will have to kill quite a lot to get enough meat for the whole pride. So I heard that Loren got a Tandy, that's very nice. So it is a cat morning. Let's going to wait here a little bit just to see if his lioness move towards the rest of the pride, and then we will move closer. Don, you saying that Darkman paw injury is getting worse? Yeah, might be. I am not sure. I didn't spend enough time with him in the past to compare. But generally, when he starts walking, the more he walks, the better it gets. And then when he lies down, he struggles again to walk a bit, and then it gets relaxed again. So it changes quite often. From what I saw since I'm here, obviously. But now he's quite okay because he's with the pride, so the pride will hunt and he will obviously get the first part of the meal. You can hear all the great go-away birds around us, alarm calling. I don't know if you can hear it. I think you can. It is quite loud. Bit of grooming there. I was just staying a bit quiet just to listen to the grey go-away bird. Lioness lover, you ask if I know how many lions there is in this pride. I am not sure. I think it's around 12, but I'm not sure. So if there's any viewers there who knows the right answer, please let me know. If I'm not mistaken, last time I saw 12, but there might be a few not in the pride at the time. Looks like that this young male is joining the two female on my right. Oh, I just want to spend a bit of time with us. It looks like they're all getting comfortable. Okay, so we'll wait a little bit here, see what happens. If they don't move too much, we might go try to find something else, depending of the action here. In the meantime, we will send you to Lauren.
Well, it's not been an easy bumble, that's for sure. My goodness. She's trying to hunt a duiker, but I think the duiker diked away, as they do, and she's now just scanning the horizon to see what's next. She's hungry. She's wet, it's cold, it's winter. Marib's most likely took most of her last kill, and we're still in Torchwood, which is really, really great news. But keeping up with Tandy, they should make a show about that, like keeping up with the Kardashians. Keeping up with Tandy. Through the bush. And Tandy doesn't like that, no, I know. No one would. I don't really know who the Kardashians are, but I know they all look very similar. They do a documentary, that's about it. What an action-packed morning. Talamates took down an impala. Cedric caught up with them. Then Miss Tandy here. Look at the curvature of that spine. It's very curved. An extremely flexible spine she has. And that's why if a pride of lions came running at her right now, Tandy would most likely be able to escape. Extremely quick on her feet and light. The heavier you are with muscles and dentition and a heavy skull, it's going to be harder to accelerate and move. So for a lion, yes, they can run fast, but they don't sustain it for very long, and they're definitely not as quick or as nimble on their feet as leopards are. They've got a heavier skull, far more muscle, if you like. They're just much heavier animals. Whereas the lighter you are, the faster you can run. If you think of a cheetah, they have tiny skulls, small teeth, less muscle. Looking at their anatomy, you can see their skills. You can see lions, power, muscle, big, strong. Cheetah, slim. Long legs for running. Not much muscle. Large nasal sort of capacities. Yvette, you're asking how many babies has Tandy had? I don't know if I could possibly answer that question because she's lost a lot as well. But we do know that she has successfully raised, well, she's had 7 litters and raised 5 cubs to independence, soon to be 6. If Maribs makes it to independence, which I'm sure he will, but he's not yet independent, so you can't classify him as independent yet. So she did raise 5 cubs to independence, and Wabaiza, he was killed by the Styx Pride in 2014, but he did make it to independence. Bahuti, Kuchava, Tamba, Kalamba, and now currently Maribs, who's not quite independent yet. But as we know, Maribs had a litter mate who didn't make it, and before Maribs there was a litter that I believe Tristan found, a litter of 2 that also didn't make it. So she's lost a lot. So you normally only count the cubs that make it to independence. Considering her age, she's done incredibly well. Born around December 2006, dearest Tandy. But But as for how many cubs that she had, I really couldn't possibly answer that. There's probably a lot that we didn't even realize. She's probably given birth to litters that didn't make it, and nobody saw them. It's nice that she's sitting so still now, right, Morgan? She's been a busy bee. It benefits her to stay still, listen, smell, look. The diker saw her, the diker got away. So she just needs to stay still now and make sure that the diker and all the other potential prey species forget that she's there. And Tandy's movements have changed so much. She really doesn't traverse herself on Djuma anymore. I mean, of course, she will pop into Djuma every now and again, but really, that sort of vertical band of the western side of Torchwood's a very, very large property. It goes all the way to the Kruger boundary, but that western side of Torchwood going directly into Chitwa. If you sort of make that a vertical band, that's where you'll find Tandy these days. Chitwa or Torchwood. She sometimes dips her paws into Little Gary, but really not far. Was that Zoe? Oh. Morgan doesn't have combs. We're being asked, would she mate with her own offspring? That is a tricky question because naturally inbreeding does happen in the cats. But it's normally fathers with daughters. So for Maribs, for example, he will disperse, and that's exactly why they disperse, or one of the reasons. Leave your natal area, set up your own territory elsewhere to avoid inbreeding, to avoid mating with your relatives. If everyone mated with everyone out in the wild, the genetic integrity of all species would be seriously compromised. So yes, it does happen, but at the end of the day, it's not ideal. Biologically, genetically, it's very far from ideal. So normally Tandy's sons will disperse, and she won't see them again. Now, her daughters do stay, but naturally that's not what's in question here. But the sons disperse, they leave their mother and they go and they set up a territory elsewhere. But you do see fathers mate with daughters. So it really wouldn't be surprising if Chingana was seen mating with Kalamba. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Bizarre, yes. It'd be a slightly strange sighting, yes. But definitely not out of the realm of possibility. Now, we may not follow her completely. We've been with her quite a while, and I know that there's other vehicles that want to see her, so we may leave her soon, but what a morning it's been with Miss Tandy.
Welcome back to Tswalu. As you can see, we are driving now through the most beautiful sand dunes. A very unique feature for this Kalahari region. And it's turning out to be a spectacular day. It is a little bit windy still. Like I said earlier, I'm sure that's a sign of some weather that's coming in, some cold weather, and certainly the right time of year for it to be getting the cold fronts. But apart from that little bit of a breeze, it is a spectacular day. Absolutely stunning out here today. as the winter goes on, we are, I mean, for sure we're starting to see a lot more wildlife, a lot easier to see them, should I say. So things become a lot more visible. In any of the water points, we'll be getting a concentration of wildlife. So very good outlook for the next few months. But as of today, it's rather quiet out here in the Kalahari. The animals keeping their heads tucked in, being smart about the weather.
Yeah, so they were still mobile on that road, so we did drive a bit further in front of them to get a better shot, hoping that they will pass us, but unfortunately now they decided to stop and lie down. But we're still going to wait here, because they might stand up again and continue walking. If they don't move, I will reposition. As you can see, there's one still walking now. And now sitting down. It is not very hot at the moment, so it will get hotter later. But it is cloudy, so there's not much sun, so it is a good sign. We might be mobile a little bit longer during the day. It was very nice to bump into them this morning. We were driving towards the sighting area, and as soon as we got there, we crossed into Djuma. So that was a very good surprise. Yeah, it looked like we're quite comfortable there now. What a beautiful lioness. Laurie, you would like to know when we groom each other if they eat the ticks as well. I am not sure, but I don't think so. The ticks will be very imprinted on their skin. I might be wrong, but I never thought about that or read anything on it. No, they're basically cleaning up themselves and making their fur a bit softer and removing the bloods. But I am not 100% sure about the ticks. The thing with lions, obviously there will be no oxpeckers on them, because if an oxpecker come on a lion to eat the ticks, the lion will try to catch the oxpecker. So this is where other animals, such as from impala, which is the smallest antelope where the oxpeckers goes on, to bigger animals, they are lucky to have this relationship with the oxpeckers. But it is a good question. I am not 100% sure of the answer, unfortunately. I will try to check, and if I get anything, I will let you know. You have to remember that ticks are full of blood. This is why actually the oxpeckers eat them. They like the blood inside the ticks. Yeah, maybe if they still lie down here longer, we might go try our luck with something else. And hopefully they will stay here for the day, and maybe it will be easier to relocate them this afternoon. Obviously during the day they will not do much, but maybe later this afternoon they might start hunting or move again. Yeah, we did position ourselves at hoping that they will walk past us, because they were highly mobile when we left us the last time. Yeah, not much is happening. Andy, you saying that lions seems to always be sitting and waiting for opportunity. Yes, so now it's not hot, so they're just lying down, but I saw some of them looking in the same direction quite intensely. I think they're getting a bit tired now, so they might just rest. But if there's anything coming close by, such as from impalas to kudu or zebras, they will definitely try their luck, and this is why they're still looking around if there's anything around them. It is not very hot actually. I can feel a little cool breeze at the moment. But it looks like we don't want to move anymore. She's a beautiful lioness, quite big. You can see definitely very well the black patch behind the ears that they use as communication, especially for a big pride like that when they are hunting. It makes it easier for them to locate the member of the pride. Okay, so we will see what they do if we leave the area. It means that they are lying down. In the meantime, we will send you to John on the move.
Hello again from the Kalahari, from Tswalu. We are still bumbling along, and I'm at the moment heading off towards one of the what should be anyway, one of the more productive waterholes for this time of year. Whether or not anybody will be drinking so early in the morning is always a tricky debate. But if nothing else, the birds coming in should be spectacular at this time of day. In particular, the sandgrass should be coming in en masse. There's a little bit of activity already now that it's, like I said, it is warming up a little bit, so that certainly the bird life is a little bit more active. Early on today, obviously, they were also keeping their heads tucked in. So whenever you start seeing birds and that kind of activity, you can expect that things are starting to wake up. Tracking is a big part of what we do out here, and yes, it's always always the most rewarding way of finding any animal is to put the work and effort in yourself and be able to follow up on their movements and eventually find them. It's tracking something that I think very few people truly understand. It's not just about looking at footprints and following a direction. It's about interpreting animals' behavior. They, having a vast knowledge on their actual behavior, their activity, and understanding the animals themselves. All of that is interlinked with the actual physical evidence left behind by animals. What most of us do out in these reserves, we refer to more as a safari style of tracking. So we are using the road networks, ultimately to find the block where an animal might be hiding, or sitting, should I say, not necessarily hiding. So in the true sense of tracking, we're not necessarily following the footprints, print by print. But yeah, incredibly rewarding. Tracking's also, it's not just about footprints. There's a lot of other evidence animals leave behind, whether it's a place where they've been feeding, where they've been resting, where they've been marking their territory. So yeah, it's for sure the most rewarding way to find an animal. I think it's one of those things we all wish we were better at, but with tracking, it's practice and understanding, and you've got to be doing it all the time. So yeah, not as good as we always think we are, but there are some really genius trackers out there. We again are very privileged out where we are here. We've got some excellent guys on the ground. We'll catch up with you a little bit later. We're going to try and get to that waterhole, and hopefully somebody's popped out for a drink or enjoying the sun.
Hello everyone, my name is Elmarie and I'm very excited about this drive. My husband Kleinhan bought me this Ticket to Dream for my birthday as a present because he knows I watch WildEarth all the time. I couldn't be more happy. I've never had such a great present in my life before.
If you want to go on safari with a WildEarth guide whilst honing your bush knowledge and of course featuring in one of our shows, then head over to our website.
Okay, my favorite part about WildEarth is the characters, and then of course I love the bush and I love Africa, and just the fact that I can follow every day, that's one of my favorite things.
Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer and you could be making your first ever on-screen appearance.
Being on a live drive on WildEarth is really great because you can actually now smell the bush, see the animals in real life. You have to really make a plan and just do it.
Hi everybody, I'm Tiana, I'm from Johannesburg, and I am one of WildEarth's biggest fans.
Been watching for 4 years, DG here from the Ozarks.
It's been 4 years for me and I'm not leaving anytime soon.
It's given me a time away from the hassles of the city, and it's given me a connection to a place that has stolen my heart, which is Africa.
Last year we lost our son, and now we're just watching WildEarth. Love to all you guys.
You are reminding us of the role that we play in nature conservation, each and every one of us. You have reconnected myself to a dream that I had as a child to get involved in nature conservation, and for that I'm really grateful for as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
My name is Steve, and one of my favorite things at WildEarth is getting questions from you. The type of questions that I really like are those ones that really help us to unpack and understand and really integrate the ecological knowledge and fully appreciate the importance that animals such as these Cape buffalo bring to the ecosystem. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, you're going to have to register on the website. But once registered, just head on over to the live safari page and enter your question under the live feed.
Welcome back with us. So we did move a bit. We started walking on the road again. Some of them went into the block, but we're hoping that maybe the rest of the pride will walk in front of us here. But it's good to see that they're mobile again. I don't know if you heard that, but the impala just spotted them. We just heard a very loud alarm call. So maybe they were trying to get close. Unfortunately, you didn't heard it, but there was an impala alarm calling. The impala is still there, so we might hear it again. It looked like that there's still some walking towards the block there, and a few still on the road. I was really hoping that they were going to continue on the road, but unfortunately they're going in the block. Another one, and there's still two lying on the road at the back. Look like we're going towards, if I'm not mistaken, Triple M. It's very nice to spend time with them, though. At least they were moving quite a lot. Yeah, so apparently you have been able to hear the impala now. Yeah, so this is impala alarm call. Obviously they spotted the lions, and they tend to go quite crazy when they see predators and do lots of alarm calls. It is quite loud. It looks like now they're continuing moving southwest. So I think we'll go around and try to relocate them on the Triple M road. In the meantime, we will send you to Tswalu with John.
So we've stopped to observe a lovely little group of meerkats who are doing what meerkats should be doing on this chilly cold morning. They have found a nice open area close to their burrow and obviously are just enjoying the sun. It's incredibly tough for these little creatures in this cold weather. They need to be able to eat enough to maintain a body temperature. And obviously have to pick their times to move quite carefully. What we are seeing, and it is very typical, is they're getting up a little bit later in the morning now, enjoying the sun for maybe a bit of a shorter period of time so that they can get out and actually look for food. And as we've already mentioned a few times, they they're eating all kinds of insects and things in particular. So lots and lots of digging at this time of year, lots of getting larvas and grubs out from under the soils. But yeah, always nice to see them out in the sun. It's obviously about 9 o'clock now, so although they're still enjoying the sun, they're not going to be sticking around much longer, and you can see they're rushing off now. I'm assuming when we see them move, they know their terrain well enough. They know where the best places are to look for food. They know where the best places are to avoid the predators, and they'll certainly know the best way to get out of this wind. So that's what it looks like they're up to there. We picked them up a few minutes ago and they were just enjoying the sun, but they're on their way again. And with that, so shall we be on our way again. Bradley, the answer to that question is no. We don't get snow out here. We're a little bit too far to the northwest to get that. As you start heading south from this region down towards the Western Cape areas like that, yes, for sure they do get snow up on the mountains. But here in the Northern Cape, we certainly don't, and I don't actually believe there's anywhere up here that does. That would be an interesting addition to this environment to have snow. I'm quite grateful we don't get it though. This nice open clearing we're driving through, we're getting very close to the waterhole I mentioned we were going to try and get to, and I can already see on the horizon there's a number of wildebeest. Looks like a big eland. So despite the cool weather, animals have to drink. Nice oryx there. So this particular environment that we're in at the moment, there's almost always a concentration of wildlife around here. Again, on a windy day like this, you're less likely to find animals standing out in the open, and not because of temperature, but more because of safety, and they rely on all of their senses to make sure they're aware of predators. So I'm pleasantly surprised to see there's an oryx and a couple of wildebeest standing around. This particular body of water is well used. Lots and lots of creatures coming here every day. And, Heather, that's actually a nice question about whether or not wildebeest do migrate in Tswalu. You'd find in South Africa there's no true migration of wildlife of any kind. And it's largely, I mean, there's a number of reasons. One, there's no conservation area in South Africa that doesn't have some kind of border around it, which obviously would stop the natural movement of wildlife. But what you find typically in most of the game reserves in South Africa is water is provided in the dry season, and numbers of wildlife would be managed to support the right amounts. Having said that, migration in the sense that we know it, thousands of miles over the Serengeti and the Masai Mara, for sure we don't get that, but animals would naturally migrate within their own environment over shorter distances. So basically going to the areas where there's the best availability of food, and obviously needing water. Food is the driving force for migration. If you look at East Africa, where you see that migration, the animals are basically following the rains, and the rains producing nice fresh green grasses. On a smaller scale, what you'd find is in environments like this, they're naturally moving to where the best food sources are, but water would be available more readily. So not migration in the true sense. You can see we've got some rather boisterous wildebeest. I can only imagine this is a group of males, and whoever the male is that feels he is the the dominant bull he has, just letting all the other guys know he is in fact the boss. And rightfully so, the others are giving way to him. So this behaviour you see with wildebeest, they've been known, they've become notorious as the fools of the veld. Their activity can be quite amusing to watch. But let's enjoy this beautiful scene.
Good morning and welcome back on Bushwalk. We've been out there looking at tracks, some birds and some animals throughout the morning. We also looked at a number of other interesting field signs, and one of the most fascinating field signs for me is this, what we see right over here. And this is what we call a civetrine, and this has been left by an animal that's called a African civet. The first thing that I find quite interesting is how thick these segments can be. They're actually thicker often than that of a dung segment of a lion, for example. And then what we can see is that this animal has been eating is quite a wide range of different plant materials as well as animal materials, as they are general omnivores. And we see a lot of seeds right over here, and these belong to the raisin bushes which grow out here. Some areas I often find a lot of jackalberry seeds inside here, as they love the fruits of jackalberries when these drop down to the ground as well. Then right over here is some remains of millipedes. And if you are familiar with species such as millipedes, they're actually quite toxic, and they've got certain toxins that will be released, cyanide-based toxins, which is generally lethal to any predator or insect that will feed on it. But in this case with African civet, that doesn't affect them in any way. There's a number of other animals that will also feed on millipedes, and these include banded mongoose. However, they have to take them, roll them into the ground to actually get rid of the toxins. It's also interesting that many of the bird species, such as the hornbills that we find in this area, will deliberately take millipedes because of the cyanide-based toxins, and they will put them into the nest entrance with feces and mud and saliva to act as a chemical defense for parasites coming in towards the nest. So coming back to the African civet itself, we generally find these animals out at night time. We generally don't have a great view on them. They tend to retreat very quickly and then disappear off into the bush when we do get close to them. However, in some areas, they do become very familiar with camps and become relaxed with the people.
As you can see, this lioness is looking very intensely in one direction. There is the herd of impala about 200 meters from us. So they seem interested in it, but it is a bit far. I'm not sure if they will go for it because the others just started to see it again. Fortunately, the only bad news that we have now, we are on the border of Djuma, on Triple M Road, so they might cross into a section where we're not really supposed to go. That would be a bit sad for us for this afternoon. But they might stay here as well, hopefully, or just start walking south on the road. I'm really hoping that they stay on Djuma. Yeah, so they did cross in that block up to Triple M. It is quite thick. We didn't manage to follow them, so we went around, but we were lucky to find them close to the road again. I didn't see dark mane yet. It was a bit behind the rest of the pride, but I'm sure it's around. The grass is quite long around here, so obviously not where this lion is, but at the back. It's a bit long, so he might be lying in the grass at the back. Yeah, we're currently on one of the main roads, so if there's any cars passing by, I apologize for that. We did spend quite a bit of time with them. Which was nice. Lancaster, you would like to know if it's possible for Dogman and his son to form a coalition? I don't think so, no. Generally, the son will be pushed out of the pride. The reason is he would like his gene to be passed on, and it's also better for the son to find new female and pass on his gene to the females. So generally, young male will be pushed out of the pride. I never heard of, on my side, my personal opinion, on a dominant male forming a coalition with his son. So I might be right, but I might be wrong, I apologize. But generally the young male will be pushed out of the pride. Talking about the young male, it just came to sit just in front of us here. I'm not sure how old he is, but generally they get pushed out of the pride at about in their third year. You can see the top of his nose there, it is a little bit pinkish. That's a good sign to see. Decided to turn his head there. It is a good sign to look at to know if a lion is mature, completely mature or not. They tend to be pinkish when they are not matured yet, and it turns black when they are completely matured, at around 7 years old. Hopefully we'll look at the camera again. Come on, please. No, doesn't seem very interested with us. And even starting to look a bit sleepy now. But you can see how big his paw is already. Kari, you would like to know if Darkman is the only adult male in the territory? No, he is from part of a coalition. There are 2 other male lions, but personally I never Darkman.
Sorry about that, everyone. I don't know where Cedric has disappeared to, but you're back with us. We have lost Tandy. No, we didn't lose her, sorry. We left Tandy. Those other vehicles wanted to spend some time with her, and she was going deeper and deeper into Torchwood. But what a fantastic morning we were able to spend with her. Now, I must say the weather's changed. Morgan, you even said this morning, I think it's going to be really hot today. I don't think it is.
No, I don't think it is.
He's changed his mind already. It's grey, it's overcast, it's chilly. And I always find those heavy overcast days, I struggle to find animals a little bit more. I don't know if it's my vision being compromised or just generally changes their behaviour. But it's not going to be that hot day that we originally thought it was going to be, I must say. The squirrel's still there, though. You see it? No, we're off. We're off. Too scared. Squirrel sightings always remind me of Wally. Oh, little Wally. Remember when Wally used to go live? I used to love going live. Is there anything there, or is it a tree? Tree. It's a nice tree. Sometimes the light plays tricks on our eyes. FC, are you still there? It's very quiet on my side. Yes, still there. Just have to make doubly sure these days. Okay, we're gonna bumble up to quarantine and see what's happening up that side.
As the sun goes down in Africa, for many, the day has just begun. WildEarth is ready for the next brand new concept, and this time, it's at night. A specialized thermal drone will take to the air under the cover of darkness. As it flies above the bush, it will be searching for hotspots on the ground.
We might have a leopard on the far right of this group of hyena.
The ground team will then be called to identify the animal.
It is a warthog. That's exactly what it is. So there we go. It was a warthog that was running away from... Sorry, Warty.
And of course, it is at this time when the big cats are on the hunt.
Yeah, James, just head a little bit more left.
Okay, copy. I'm going to go north around on Impala Road.
Okay, the lions are on the move, guys. Lions are chasing the wildebeest.
WildEarth is looking for a sponsor who can help turn this show into a long-running series. If you are interested, then head over to our website to find out more. wildearth.tv/sponsors. As one of the industry's best and Fagasa endorsed training institutes, NJ Moorfield Guide College produces professional guides of exceptional caliber and gives students from around the world an incredible experience. NJ Moore offers courses to suit all types of interests. The full-length career course results in a Fagasa accredited qualification and the option of a 6-month internship at one of Moore Family Collection's luxury safari lodges. Shorter courses are a great introduction for those considering a career in field guiding or even a life-enriching experience in your gap year. With spaces still available in July, don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity to live your African dream.
Hi everyone, my name's Daniel Fisher and I'm going to be your guide this afternoon. I'm looking really forward to taking you through and showing you all the beautiful places here at andBeyond in Ngala. If you have any questions, please register on our website. Once registered, go to the live page feed and post your questions underneath the live feed. Join me on my next safari through andBeyond in Ngala on WildEarth. Send me live questions through the WildEarth website and I'll answer them live from the African bush.
Quarantine is definitely not void of life. We have baboons. Okay, that one's running away, Morgan, but I can see, oh, they're all running up here, you see? Don't know if you can see them just over in the distance. Sometimes you don't want to get too close because they will run away. If you just view them from afar, you can see them walking across quarantine. Check my baboons. Ah, we've got more up here, Morgan. I'm going to reposition. I have to say, I don't love it when baboons are in camp, but I do love baboon sightings. The vervet monkeys, well, the vervet monkeys and I, that's a different story. At least I got my tooth back. There's one there, but there was a few up here. Ah, there he goes, running now. Look at that. There's actually a video circulating on the whole dark wide web of a lion running up a tree to catch a baboon. It's quite disturbing, I must say. It's not the most pleasant video to watch. Bless me, sorry. Sorry again. I don't know what's getting up my nose. That can't be pleasant for all of you at home. Look, they're all here, Morgan, you see. The little ones as well. This is a really large troop. Everybody always enjoys watching the primates, the vervet monkeys or the Djuma baboons, the species that we get out here. Can you hear that? Wow, that was either a tantrum or a dispute. I'm not sure which one. And although in terms of size they are the perfect leopard snack, really. I mean, if a leopard can sneak up on them. But then if you add in all the other factors, there's a troop. There's normally many of them, and the big males are huge in size. Two, they're very, very vocal, as you just heard. They are going to vocalize. They are going to make such a noise when they see a predator. And three, they're actually strong. They could injure a leopard. If the leopard came from behind and sort of grabbed their neck and spine, they most likely wouldn't be able to do anything. But if they have enough time to turn around, they can really do a lot of damage to a leopard using their hands and, of course, their canines. So although they look like they're the perfect size, actually, baboons are very tricky. That's a very interesting sighting on quarantine. I think I'm going to stay here a little bit longer, but you guys are going to pop over to Cedric.
Yeah, so we're still with the Talamatis. They did move a bit. They were quite interested in one herd of impalas, but nothing much happened. They just started stalking a bit, and then they decided to lie, all of them, on the road. To come back to the little pinkish nose, you can see now on that young male. There we go. It's still pink, so that shows that he's still young and not mature. Yeah, it looked like we decided to lie here in the middle of one of the main road of Djuma, called Triple M, and on the other side it's one area where we can't go, so we really hope that they will stay on Djuma. They seem very relaxed now, and I have the feeling they will spend the rest of the day here, but of course I might be wrong. We can always decide to stand up and start walking. There's quite a lot of cars driving this road, so I think people coming in and out lodges, they will get quite a nice surprise to see lions lying in the middle of a road. Would have been nice to see a kill. Fortunately, that didn't happen. But we're pretty sure that they had a kill yesterday or last night, because there's lots of blood on their skin. Yes, they are gorgeous, Annette, if I got the name right. They are beautiful, yeah, and very good condition. We can see they have full tummies now, and yeah, I think they had a good meal last night or yesterday, I'm not sure, but they are in very good condition. You can get some skinny lions sometime, and this is because of TB. Some animals here have tuberculosis, which is different than the human one. It's more the animal tuberculosis, and can affect the condition of the lions. But they seem to be in very good condition. It is very nice to spending some time with them and ending the show with them as well. I did enjoy it. I hope you also enjoyed the lion sighting and the leopard sighting from Lorraine for the Djuma side. It was a cat morning. It's always nice to see cats. I really thank you for all your questions. It's very nice for us to receive all your questions. And I wish you a good rest of the day. See you this afternoon. Goodbye.